The valley of the Vézère River is a tranquil, remote corner of France, not much disturbed by modern times. But to scientists who care about ancient man, it has been, for the past century, one of the most important places on Earth. For here have been found remarkable evidences of prehistoric man's existence. It was here that the comparatively new study of prehistory first came into prominence. In the valleys and along the ridges, man once hunted the wild animals which were the chief source of his food and clothing. The horse, deer, and cattle and other creatures long extinct. The Vézère River itself was important, for it had in glacial times, with its cutting action, created the cliffs and rock shelters wherein men found their dwelling places. In the cliffs and under the rock shelters, man has been living for no one knows how many tens of thousands of years. And he left his records behind in many places. His bones, the bones of the animals which lived in the countryside with him, off which he fed and clothed himself and his family, along with the stone and bone implements with which he hunted and kept house. In the Vézère Valley today, modern men build houses in the same cliffs used as dwellings by ancient man. At Lascaux, in the cliffs where the first Cro-Magnon skeletons were found about 100 years ago, modern houses are built. And in medieval times, men cut holes in the soft limestone walls in which to live. At nearby Le Moustier, ancient men deposited the records of their many tenancies, piled as neatly as in filing cabinets. And when archaeologists excavated here, they could easily identify the successive layers of man-chipped stones mixed with the bones of animals, a vast refuse heap that men of different epochs had left behind. The chart tells the names which have been given to the different periods. Aurignacian, Perigordian, Mousterian, and Acheulean. Children of the valley roam among the ancient sites, reclaiming the old crude tools that men, long since disappeared to no one knows where, left behind. The day that Marcel and Ravidar stumbled into the cave, since called Lascaux, was an important day in the history of man and his art. For the paintings they found had been neatly sealed from human sight for thousands of years. The boys had come in through a hole in the roof of the cave, caused by erosion of the hilltop, and though they searched for many days, they never located the original entrance, probably blocked off by some rock fall ages ago. They found walls covered with countless undecipherable lines. And on a ceiling, the vague forms of horses. And the antlers of a vanished deer. And paintings as fresh as though done yesterday. They saw where a natural formation of the cave wall had suggested the painting of a bull. And here were 3 small deer with a curious eye-like sign. Possibly the magical eye of the hunter, ensuring success in the hunt. Nearby, they found this same symbol with other animals. In many places, they found other strange marks, like the one in front of this bull's head. And in other places, series of dots, like those under this stag's head. 14 may be the number of hunters. And here a horse made mostly of dots. And a galloping horse with magic arrows through it, another symbol of the wish for hunting success. A Chinese-like horse, pregnant as are all the female animals in the cave, a wish that the food supply continue. A strange, unknown creature. A fine parade of ponies and a leaping cow, like the cow jumping over the moon. A grid-like sign, perhaps a trap, perhaps a tribal sign. More horses. And an ibex. Over 500 animals were found in the cave. Here was a lavender horse with a plant or the symbol of a hand in front of him. The horse falls upside down into a crevice. Does this denote danger? Two bison, one losing his winter coat. They came upon a most remarkable horse. His body shaded to indicate a third dimension, his head turned and foreshortened, his ears shown in a natural way. This may be the first painting attempting modern perspective. Paintings on top of paintings, done thousands of years apart. And on the walls, more symbols, crosses. And within the big black bull, a small red bull of an earlier period. An etched deer with an ear drawn in an interesting perspective. Down on the side of the head, as Picasso might conceive it. A herd of deer seemed to be swimming, a remarkably subtle composition. And nearby another startling composition of 4 heads on a ceiling. They found a faded horse of a very early type and a bison of the same period. And each had 7 magic arrows through him. A horse with a long, fanciful head. A horse within a horse. Another wish for reproduction of food, perhaps. A black cow facing right covers the head of an earlier yellow horse facing left. The cow stands on a painting that looks modern and abstract. What is this? A clan sign? A tribal banner? In a deep and inaccessible shaft, off by itself, they found this group: a woolly rhinoceros, a man, the only human figure in the cave, apparently dead and with a bird's head. Nearby, a totem-like bird on a stick, a bison, pierced through with a spear, his entrails coming out. Of what ancient tragedy does this tell? The side of one of the largest sections of the cave was covered with huge black bulls, some of them 20 feet long. And worked in among them were other animals like these galloping ponies and this brown horse. Nowhere in the history of cave painting had animals so large as these ever been found. In the neck of a great bull was an exquisite little deer. All around, the magnificent bulls, standing strong and resolute as they had for thousands of years. What had the boy's dog led them into that fateful day in 1940? Scholars think it was a temple devoted to securing through magic an abundance of food in those remote times when man was solely a hunter, before he had learned to raise crops or before he domesticated animals. When were these paintings made? Scientists say the newest about 12,000 years ago, and the oldest about 30,000. Here on the walls of Lascaux, in paintings, signs, and dots, are perhaps the beginning of man's religion, his writing, his mathematics, and his art. Surely it was a day filled with magic, too, that revealed to these 2 French boys such a deep glimpse into mankind's distant past.